Welcome to the honor series of the City Business Festival. It is the 2025 edition and we are just getting started. This is the very first week and it's a week we've dedicated to personal financing. Our topic for today, a very interesting one, savings, understanding the basics and fundamentals of it. Savings 101, that's how we've decided to put it. By the way, I am Ni Lati and thank you for joining us here on 97.3 City FM as well as ChannelOne TV. My guest is Doris Ahiati, financial consultant, executive coach, and above all, the co-founder and CEO of Crescendo Consults Limited. When we come back, we'll be speaking to her for us to really unpack the whole issue of savings. Don't go away. Welcome again. It's the 2025 City Business Festival and it is powered by 97.3 City FM as well as ChannelOne TV. We are sponsored by Absa Bank Ghana Limited, MTN Ghana and Zonda Tech Ghana Limited. This is our maiden honor series and it is the first of many to come throughout this month of June. Thank you for joining us and thank you, Doris, for joining us again on the City Business Festival. It's that time of the year again. Good to see you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to contribute to financial literacy.
Wonderful. And you have been running Crescendo Consult Limited?
Since late December 2018.
I see. So that's some 7 years or 6 years thereabouts.
Yes, 6 years is what.
And throughout this period, what have you been doing? What was the brain behind it?
So initially, I was looking at an opportunity that enables me to serve not only in the financial space, but to also serve in leadership development and performance. I couldn't do this as an employee in any particular company. So to have that kind of split, I needed to start out. And there was a clear need in the market when it comes to supporting people to achieve financial liberation and to also empower people to understand that they can own their own future, what they become, taking advantage of the limitless potential that lies within, because many people don't seem to be aware of it.
I see. So you are basically helping individuals and businesses put things together when it comes to financing, which is why we are here.
And performance.
I see. So let's get started. We've been hearing savings every now and then. What really does it entail? What do we consider savings? If you can just break it down for us.
Okay. So when I think about savings, I think about putting something aside. Let me start from when we eat and we say, I'm not eating all, I'm saving a bit. When you bring it to agric, and I'm a farmer sometimes, farmers plant crop or may have animals, and when they've slaughtered or when they've harvested, they say, let's save some. Essentially meaning let's keep some for the future. So certain, for the purposes of our conversation, finance, or is it?
Savings 101.
Savings 101.
The broad topic is, financial planning.
This one is on the financial side. So we are talking about financial resources and want to start with a focus on money. And that would mean that putting some money aside, setting some money aside, and setting it aside in a way where it is safe and secure. So if you put it under your pillow, if you keep it under your mattress, if it's in a hole somewhere, it's not quite safe or secure, so we won't count that as savings. But the beginning part is that you take it and you set it aside. And then you are setting it aside in a way that is safe and secure. I see. For future reasons.
So essentially you are deferring current consumption for the future, so that you can fall back on it whenever the need arises. However, you must do it in a way and manner which is safe and secure. I see. But is this a thing for everyone? Is it that everyone has the capacity to save? Who really are the people when it comes to, saving? Or is it for everyone?
Let me respond by when you say, has everybody got the capacity? It's a habit. And when it comes to habit, anybody at all can form the habit. Now, I also think that it is crucial that every individual has this particular kind of habit. You will not be born with it. Many of us are not born with it, but we must learn to cultivate this habit by intentionally, initially, taking the action of setting something aside, deferring the consumption so that in the future you can enjoy more. And I like to compare Ghana to other countries. Generally, Ghana is known to be one of the countries with a very low savings rate. When a country has a low savings rate, it means that its people have a very high marginal propensity to consume. We just spend everything that comes into our hand. I know people out there will charge on me and say, but how much is coming into our hand that we should save? But this is where the importance of the habit comes in. Once you are focused on the habit, when you have only 1 Ghana cedi, you know that I should put aside some 5 pesos out of this. And eventually these little drops become the pool. And if you have a good savings rate as a nation, you don't have to be frequently falling on the euro bonds and borrowing from other nations in order to support the growth of your country. If you want to grow as an individual, as a company, as an economy, you need to start from a savings habit.
I see. So that brings me to my next question. How different is saving from investment or even wealth creation?
Yes.
Is it the same? Is it used interchangeably, or there's actually a thin line in between? If you can unpack that for us.
Thank you. Many people feel savings and investment are synonymous, but they are not. Remember that when we spoke about savings, I said there is security and there is safety.
Right.
So think about the basic savings accounts that banks give you. They make sure that the money is being kept safe for you. Maybe you should even be paying the bank for keeping your money safe from armed robbers and from floods and things that fire that can destroy your money. So they keep it safe and secure for you. However, because you are not paying for that service of providing safety and security for your cash, they would give you a small amount of interest on it. Your money is just being kept in a safe custody. When we talk about investment, the funds that you are placing in investment is actually put to work. When you have put your money in savings, there is a responsibility on the bank to pull the money up for you anytime you show up to withdraw it, or according to the terms of the particular savings account. When it comes to investment, because the money has gone to work, depending on the kind of work that this money has been put to, you may have to wait for it to be called back from work. And when I say work, it may be invested in a company by way of shares. So then we need somebody to take position before your money. It's not like savings where, so there is a higher risk. Whenever we talk about investment, there is relatively some risk involved, which risk does not apply to savings.
We'll be talking about investment later on this week, but
That's
back
fine.
to the issue of, forming a habit. You mentioned that no one is born with the habit of saving. You need to form it. How is that cultivated? If you are able to run us through how any individual at all who has decided to save can do that.
Okay, so science and psychology shows that when you do something repeatedly for a period of at least 21 days, there are neural pathways in the brain that begin to form, so that very soon when you wake up and you haven't done what you have been doing continuously, you will feel like something is missing. Humans are considered to be organisms of habits. So we like to be comfortable with something we've been doing. But it also means that it's difficult for us to break away from something we've been doing. And so at the beginning part, when you have to break away from something you've been doing, which is not savings, you will have to replace it with something else. And at the point where you are replacing it with something else, in this case, the savings habit, you would need to be intentional. If I have your permission,
you have.
So you set a reminder on your phone. You put people on standby to check on you. You essentially
can even have accountability partners.
Accountability is required so that you can intentionally stick with it. But once you've been supported to stick successfully to it for at about 21 times continuously, then you form the habits. Your brain would have picked up that this is part of the routine. Now this is how we do it. For every month when I earn my salary, 10% should go here because you started. I also like to encourage that you start small. So there may be simple things like I've got a drink. I can drink all right. It's consumption versus deferring consumption.
Right.
Should I drink the full can of drink or bottle, or can I save some?
All right.
So you can start with very little things like that, very non-threatening things. And then gradually, you are reinforcing the fact that when something comes into my hand, let me save some. Let me not just consume, whether it's money, whether it's drink, whether my time, how I'm even managing my time, that I'm saving some. And then it becomes easier over time.
So it's just like small, amount or small moves, but consistency.
Yes.
That's the key word here.
Consistency.
Not just putting a huge sum of money somewhere and just going back to sleep. But let's talk about, where and why, or even when. Is it something like, is it too late to begin saving, or at any point in time I can go in for it? And when I am going in for it, where should I do it? You have earlier mentioned that we don't have to keep it under our beds. We don't have to keep it in jars in our rooms. So where is the right place for an individual to save?
Okay. You mentioned 3 things.
Right.
I had the why, the where, and the when. Let's start with when. Whenever you become conscious that it's important to save, that right there is the time when you should start. Immediately. Immediately. So that day, the pocket money that you have on you, check which account that you can deposit something into and go make that move. Save that little amount. Why? We always have what we call a rainy day. There will always be those. So the first item when we think about the types of savings would be having an emergency account. If you should find yourself unable to earn income during the COVID, when some businesses shut down, some people really quickly run out of funds. If you don't have an emergency savings account, how do you survive? So think about the future. It is the reason why it's important for you to save. You may also have some goals, some big dreams that you want to achieve. For you to achieve them, it's important that you are saving or investing. So this is another reason for the why. Then let's come to where. The first place that comes to people's minds when we talk about savings will be a bank. And if you walk into a bank, they will have your traditional savings account. I'm not making reference to current accounts because they typically will not reward you. So your savings account, and then we have different variations in the savings account. We have those that will be serving very short-term purposes, those that you can easily make withdrawals from. And we have those that lock you in for a little bit of time, maybe fixed deposit kind of investment for some 3 months or etc. And these are also savings accounts that you can place funds in. If you want to be more creative and venture into investments, then you have the treasuries where you are lending money to the government. There are shorter term products under the treasuries. We have 91 day, we have 182 day, we have the 1 year, 2 year, and we have the longer term ones that will go as far as 10 years. Okay. Depending on your risk appetite, maybe we'll come to that if we have time. You select what is good for you. And there are many other products out there with the investment banks that you can also place funds in.
But one will ask briefly, you are talking about the fact that savings is quite different from investment. So why do I go into treasury bills? Why do I go into fixed deposits or even collective investment schemes?
Yes.
If you can just explain that bit to avoid any form of confusion.
Sure. At the beginning, I mentioned that in savings, there is safe custody that is being provided and the security of your funds. And as a result, you are really not generating significant returns. The money is not growing that much in ordinary language. So if you want to see the money growing nicely, you would have to take on some risk, which risk will be rewarded. This risk means that you are parting company liquidity access for a relatively longer period of time. And depending on the product and depending on how long it will take before you access your funds, that impacts the risk. And it also affects the return. The higher the risk, you are more, you are ready to accept, the more the returns that you will receive.
Very well. Doris Ahiati is a financial consultant and executive coach and CEO and co-founder at Crescendo Consult, right here on the Honor series of the City Business Festival. We are talking about Savings 101. That is our topic here. And Doris is answering all the questions, the basic ones, of course, about the who, the what, the when, the where, the why, and even the how. When we come back, we'll be talking about how to form a realistic savings plan, if it's even possible at all. She'll be telling us that right here on the City Business Festival. Don't go away. You're welcome back. Thank you for staying with us here on the Honor series of the City Business Festival. I am Nee, Lati. My guest is Doris Ahiati. Before we went on that break, we were talking about how not to confuse savings and, investment and how to get it right. But let me take you to a very interesting report that was published by, Old Mutual. Last year, they did a financial services monitor report just to gauge the savings culture of, Ghanaians. And interestingly, in that report, we realized that 80% of the respondents admitted to the fact that they needed to save. However, just about 30% are actually saving. The remaining 50% are not doing any form of savings at all for retirement, for emergency. They are just there, although they know that they need to save. So I just want to pick your thought briefly. What's the disconnect? What's the reality in there about knowing the fact that I have to save and not saving at all for many people who live paycheck to paycheck?
So the answer coming to mind is emotional intelligence. And we always have the behavioral side of finance. I mean, how you behave. You know this is good for you, this is right for you, but you are just not doing it. Why are you not doing it? It's the extent to which you are using your emotions to help you. So you receive a windfall, and then you are feeling very excited, and windfall can be things like 13th month.
Yeah.
It was not part of your salary, so it comes and you're excited. That's an emotion. And then the excitement says, go on a shopping spree, spend everything, it's fine. And you allow that emotion to lead you. At the end of the day, you haven't saved anything. So this calls for the self-regulation aspect of emotional intelligence.
I see.
How am I able to regulate my emotions so that my emotions are working for me, with me, in my interest, as opposed to my emotions working against me and leading to my downfall. We all have the emotions, but you need to learn how to master the emotions. So emotions are at the heart of why we
see.
don't.
And so if we are talking about a saving plan or a culture, is it something that you must have at the back of your head, or you actually have to write it down? Does it follow any rule? You get to hear people say that 50, 30, 20. What's your take in terms of factors that one must consider when it comes to savings?
Okay. I'm hearing something like two questions there.
Yeah, two in one.
Let's tackle the plan first. Okay. I know that in my work, you often come across people who are looking for that ideal plan. Just give it to me and let me go implement it. And we say that we do not have an ideal plan that fits all, because each plan is based on the circumstances of the individual.
Right.
When we talk about circumstances, we are talking about your income level.
Right.
Is it high or low? We are talking about your family circumstances. How many dependents do you have? Are you the sole income earner? We're talking about indebtedness. Do you currently have some heavy loans that you are repaying, or you don't have any loans at all? We also talk about even the context of your economic circumstances. Right now, the economy is beginning to shake itself into recovery. Or are you at a time where everything is going downhill, recession? When we talk about your job security also, if you are employed or wherever you are working, how secure or insecure
these are all factors you must consider. All these are
factors. So you see that the permutation for different individuals will be so diverse that we can't have one fitting everybody. A basic thing that I would recommend, and this is along the lines of budget. You may have heard people say 60, 30, 20. So this is how you split your money according to how much you are spending on non-discretionary items. Every day you must feed yourself, you must groom yourself, you must keep yourself healthy. These are non-negotiables. Spend about 60% of your earnings on these things. 60%. Then you have a remaining 40%. You can decide to spend 10% of the income you are earning on what we call discretionary. It's by choice. You can choose to eat outside. It's not compulsory that you must always eat from a restaurant. You can watch your movie at home, or you go to a particular cinema to watch. So these entertainment and little things that you can do without, they form the discretionary. Okay, so you can choose to not have them. Have some 10% against that. And then the remaining 30%, I said 60, 10, 30. I'm mindful that a lot of Ghanaians tithe, and I encourage it. So let's say of the 30, 10 is going towards tithe, and the 20% should be going towards savings. I'm mindful that we save a little more because, look, you are living on the 60%. The 20% you are setting aside is contributing towards the future, what you are going to live on. If it is too small in the future, it will be inadequate to give you a certain comfortable base lifestyle.
I see. And so we are wrapping up. So quickly, I just want you to make it practical here for us. So it is not an ideal situation for everyone.
Yes.
And I'm sure that people have various reasons for saving. So 2 quick questions before I come to, your overall conclusion when it comes to this conversation. Do we save for everything and anything at all? And what are the biggest misconceptions when it comes to saving? Are there things we need not do at all when it comes to savings?
Let me start with, do we save for everything and anything? I would say yes.
Right.
Because if you are going to invest in a new LCD, is that what you call it?
Yeah, LCD TV or
yes,
something.
or curve or something, a type of phone, it costs money. Now, savings and having a habit means that you are constantly placing something aside. It makes it very convenient and easy when you have to spend it, especially for expenditure outlays that are significant. You don't feel the stress, you don't feel burdened. And so it is important that you save towards everything. That birthday party, that vacation, your future home, children's education, even before they are born, your own further education, everything and anything you should aim to invest or save money towards. Then the second part of your question
has to do with misconceptions.
Misconceptions.
And what we are not supposed to do. When do we touch the money? When do we not touch the money?
I think that the first misconception I would like to touch on is that I'm saving the money, but where I'm saving it, I have very easy access to it. There are some people that say they are saving money in a money box.
Right.
And we tried it with my little boy. Every time he will go and open the piggy bank and count
and
how
see
much.
the money is still in there.
Yes. So I think it's very basic. Maybe not many people will find themselves in there, but that urge to see how is the money doing, let me withdraw it and see if it will come kind of thing stands in the way. But I think beliefs are really the main challenge when it comes to savings. Beliefs. Believing that I'm capable, and if I set this money aside in the future, it's going to contribute towards my financial well-being, as opposed to those believing that I have a sister who uses let me spend the money, let me consume it today, and let me know that I don't have it. It is the first challenge that prevents people from even starting. That's where the difficulty is. But once people start, usually you would get them going for a while.
I see. Your concluding words. What's that one top tip when it comes to saving? What are you leaving our listeners and viewers with?
So I think it will be that if you haven't already been saving, start now. That's the one thing I would like to call people to. And the second thing I would say is I don't think that my money is too small to save. That's extremely important to me. It's a habit you are forming. It will never be convenient. If you are earning 1 million and you have to save something, you still feel it. If you are earning 1 CD and you have to save something, you will feel it. So just get over that habit and make up your mind that I will set it aside. Don't wait to have enough before you save, because you never have enough.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Doris Ahiati. She is a financial consultant, executive coach, and co-founder and CEO at Crescendo Consults Limited. My guest today on the City Business Festival Honor Series on understanding the basics and fundamentals of savings. I am Neil Attila. To remember that the Honor Series, as part of the City Business Festival, is brought to you by Absa Bank Ghana Limited, MTN Ghana, and Zonatech. Thank you so much for tuning in. Catch you some other time.